Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today. Laurie Lamont is here with her husband Dan and a couple of their children and a sister. Yes. Laurie is a certified and accredited EFT practitioner who has been passionately sharing her gift with the world. EFT is emotional freedom techniques. It's a form of counseling intervention that draws on various theories of alternative medicine, including acupuncture, neuro-linguistic programming, energy medicine, and thought field therapy. Laurie is also an active member of the Unity of Central Massachusetts, where she serves as a prayer chaplain, platform assistant, guest speaker, and workshop facilitator. Please welcome Laurie Lamont.
Ooh. Wes, I think I put my paper with your papers.
Really?
Well, I put it. Am I under this book? Okay. Thank you. Just in case I forget, guys. Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes. Awesome. Good morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Laurie Lamont. Ooh, there's a microphone right here. My name is Laurie Lamont, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be here to share what I have to say with all of you today. Over the last couple of years, I was given an opportunity to become a frequent speaker at my home Unity in Worcester, Mass. And one of the things I did was I had done a 4-part series on the book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwene Gaines. Has anybody? Oh, yes. Right? We love her, yes? So if you're not familiar with Edwene Gaines, she is a Unity minister. She's retired now, but she's a comedian. She's hilarious. And she's one of those women that will just tell it to you exactly how it is, right? There's no holding back with Edwene. And so I did this 4-part series, and I'm just going to quickly go through the first 3 principles, because I think we all grasp them. So the first principle, in case you need a reminder, is tithing, which is giving 10% of your income to your spiritual food, which is wherever it is that you're reminded of who you really are, which is that God within, that power within. The second spiritual prosperity principle is forgiveness, daily forgiveness. How many people here practice forgiveness every day? Now, Chris Hogan was here a few weeks ago, and he nailed it when he was talking about Ho'oponopono, right? Who was here for that? Yeah. That was beautiful, and that is a perfect, simple way to practice forgiveness on a daily basis. The third principle for prosperity is goal setting, and we're in Unity, so you guys, I feel like that's the one that everybody kind of has that one down pat, right? You guys know we're goal setting. We know what we're doing with that. For me, I set a goal for 2018 that I would speak at 3 new Unity centers in the year 2018, and this is the second of the 3. So you are all a part of me achieving my goals. Hooray! So the 4th Unity principle, I keep saying Unity. The 4th Edwene Gaines principle for prosperity is your divine purpose, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. She says that you must seek, discover, and follow your divine purpose. Can I move this? Because I feel like I can't see some people. Is that okay? Okay. So now you're all here. You're at a Unity, so I feel like the seeking part is done, right? I mean, that's what brought us to Unity in the first place, right? We're seeking that higher power, that inner God, that Christ consciousness. The second step is we need to discover our divine purpose, and then we follow it. Now, how many people here feel like as though they've already discovered their divine purpose? It's okay, don't be shy. Okay, good, all right. So now, if you feel as though so for those of you who have not just feeling like you've exactly discovered your divine purpose, it's okay, don't worry. I had the pleasure of seeing Edwene do stand-up comedy last winter in New York, and she's up there on stage, and she asked, how many people have received, know their divine purpose and how many people don't. And she said, those of you who haven't discovered your divine purpose yet, I'm sure some of you are waiting for the Archangel Michael to present himself to you. And the birds will be chirping, and there'll be a scent of roses, and the sun will be setting or rising. It'll be this beautiful moment in time, and the Archangel will bestow upon you your divine purpose, and then you will go forward, and it'll be perfect. And she's sitting there, and she says, that could happen. Or you could just make it up. It's much faster this way. And for me, when I used to think about divine purpose, I thought, this is like a really big, serious thing, right? It's like this whole big, elaborate, serious, like a commitment, right? My divine purpose. If I say this is my divine purpose and I'm wrong, I don't want to screw it. I had all these like rules. Anybody else? Or am I the only one that had like thought that divine purpose had to be really, really serious? It's divine, right? So Edwene, what she's saying is, she says, I don't know if you guys got the memo, but planet Earth is the party planet. And if you're not having any fun, you're doing it wrong. Which is perfect, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, but we're talking about divine purpose. This is a big deal. This is serious. Like, what do you mean? And she's saying, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Which brings me to this analogy that it's an Abraham Hicks analogy of the stream. How many people are familiar? Like they talk about going upstream and downstream and stuff like that, right? So I kind of put my own little New England twist on it. So I'd like everybody to imagine for a moment that you're at the Saco River. You're up in the White Mountains, okay? And the Saco River is pretty chill, right? People get in their tubes and they go down it for a few hours. And let's say you've rented a canoe, and you're getting in this canoe, and the person you've rented the canoe from says, all right, you've got two choices. You can get in this canoe, okay? And you can head this way. You can go upstream, and you're going to work so hard, and you're going to paddle really, really hard. You're going to work as hard as you can, and you're not going to get very far. But it's an option. You can do this. You can work. And because you're working so hard, you're probably going to miss out on the wildlife and the nature and all that stuff. But it's an option. You can certainly do this. Or you can get in your canoe, and you can take these paddles, these oars, and you really don't have to use them much. You might have to use them, maybe there's a tree in the way, maybe there's a rock, and you got to, kind of navigate a little bit. But for the most part, the river's going to do all the work for you, and you're going to get farther. And because the river's doing all this work, you get to enjoy the nature and the wildlife, maybe the people around you and all that stuff, right? So how many people getting in the Saco River want to get in that canoe and go upstream and work really hard? Anybody? Because there's usually one person in the group. There's not that one person today? Oh, there you are. See, there's always somebody that wants, we have 3 today. They want to work really hard. It's okay. It's okay. And go up the stream. So, I love it that there's 3 today. So you see where I'm going with this, right? With this stream. So I have one extra piece that I want to add to it before we go much further. I remember listening to a recording of Wayne Dyer long time ago, and he was just talking about power versus force, and he was all about the vibration at that time. And he said, I want you to imagine, and I know we're in unity, and I know we all know that God is everywhere and inside of us, so just breathe for a moment for what I'm about to say, okay? Imagine that right here is God. It's okay. So right here is God, okay? And imagine that God has this beam of energy, right? And on this beam of energy is, where we are, where I am, okay? So if I'm over here, and I'm doing that whole like JOB thing, that just over broke thing, right? And I'm up here and I'm working really hard and I'm paddling upstream, right? My vibration's getting lower and lower and lower. My energy's getting denser and denser and denser, right? And the way that Wayne Dyer was putting it was, your good is right there. Every possibility you could possibly have is right there, but somehow we tend to turn our back to it. And we're going upstream. All we have to do is turn around and face our good, right? This energy, this energy that is flowing, it's always flowing to us. Whether we're all the way at the end of the stream and we're still working so hard, or we're way over here, that stream of energy is there. It's a matter of how we're facing it and how close we are to it. Does that make sense? So let's just let's just talk about this for a minute, because I'm sure nobody here is ever going upstream, right? Let's just kind of play this out. What does my life look like if I'm going upstream? And you guys can just shout it out. What's happening with my finances if I'm paddling upstream and I'm working so hard? What's going on? I'm broke. I've probably got what? I've got lack, right? What about my relationships? Shout it out.
Stressed.
Yeah, what else? What was it? Unsatisfying? Broken.
None at all.
None at all. Well, I'm probably going to have relationships, and they're probably going to be drama-filled, right? Or maybe the people I'm working with are driving me bananas, right? What else? How about my health? How's my health if I'm over here and I'm working so hard and I'm moving away from my vibration? My highest good is right here. Everybody, you all have your highest good. It's all right there. But sometimes we're over here. Okay? How many people have been in a room and they're feeling pretty good, maybe neutral feeling, and somebody walks in the room, and before you even talk to them, you feel like a drop. You feel like an energy, oh no, they've had a bad day. Before they even say a word, you can tell they've had a bad day. You can tell that they're not happy. Am I the only one that feels this way? No. So what's happening is you're over here, you're neutral, right? Maybe you're just sitting sideways in your canoe, I don't know. You're all just chilling out. And then this person comes into your energy field, and they're over here, and they're pretty ticked off because they were working so hard, and who knows what happened to them. What happens is, because we're all connected, yes, my vibration's here, this person's over here, what happens? We start to mine comes down a little bit, theirs comes up a little bit. Because consequently, how many people have been around that person that every time you're around them, you just feel better, right? Their vibration's a little bit higher, and it brings us up a little bit, which is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So, same thing. Now we're moving this way. What does my life look like if I'm moving this way? It's flowing. Carefree.
Happiness.
What was it?
Happiness.
What was over here?
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. So what am I experiencing? So I'm feeling joy. I'm probably experiencing better health. Things are happening easier for me, right? So Edwene, this woman, I just love her. What she says to us is, in order to discover your divine purpose, all you have to do is ask yourself, what would be the most fun in my life? What would be the most fun? And of course, here I was stuck in the whole serious world. But what would be the most fun in my life? And what she's trying to do, she's trying to get us to go downstream, right? Now, why is it so important for us to be going downstream? We're all connected. So if my vibration goes up, everybody else's goes up. There's this collective consciousness, right? It's not just me and my energy and you and your energy. No, we're all connected. So if I come up, I'm raising everybody up. Now, let's use some people for examples. When Reverend Tony is up here, now I've only seen Reverend Tony speak once when he came to Unity of Central Mass. But I have experienced him as a speaker. When he's up here, which way is he going? He's going downstream, right? And he's excited, and he's sharing his message, and he's contagious, wouldn't you say? Everybody's vibration raises up. So not only is Tony raising his vibration, which is helping everybody on the planet, he's getting everyone in the room's vibration up, 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 which is also helping the planet even more, if you think about it that way. Okay? Now, Edwene says, and I forgot to bring her book. It's not that I forgot to bring her book. I forgot to look for her book. Let's be honest. But I've read her book so many times, and I've talked about her so many times that I'm going to try really hard to get this quote down. And I'm probably going to miss a few pieces, but you'll get the gist. She says, "You are a spiritual being." Yes. Oh, and I forgot to mention, at the end, at part of this, Like the first, I don't even know, 7, 8 times I read this, I was so intimidated and I was so like, So, all right, so let me start over. You're a spiritual being. Yes, I agree. Living in a spiritual universe. Absolutely. Governed by spiritual law. All good. You came to play at the highest level that you could possibly play. So I'm still like, all right. Then she says, you came to play at the level of Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King. And at this point, I'm saying, no, I didn't. I am not Mother Teresa. Ask anyone in my family. No, right? I'm not. I'm not Gandhi. I'm not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not any of these people, right? So the first, I don't even know how many times I read this book. I pretty much skimmed over that line and was like, yeah, that's not for me. I don't know who she's talking to, but it's not me. But the more I thought about it, every time I go downstream, my vibration goes up. And if I do it in a way that I can touch the lives of other people, their vibration goes up. Even if it's just leading by example and other people say, ooh, what's she doing? Oh, I want to feel that. I want to do that too, you know? Their vibration goes up. And then you have to and then it's that whole idea that we're all connected. So we really are improving it's the entire world. If we think it's just in this room or just in Cape Cod or just in Massachusetts, we're crazy. We're all connected, right? So, when I think about my own personal, I don't want to get my own personal stuff first. First, I want to finish talking about Reverend Tony first. So he's up here, and he's going downstream when he's giving his talks, right? Is that the only time that he's living his divine purpose, would you say? Heck no. He's a musician, right? When he's playing, is that getting people excited? Is he lit up? Or his vibration is up and other people are excited too? Yeah. Now, I don't know Reverend Tony incredibly well. If you guys want, you can throw out some other ways that you've seen him, that you feel that vibration, right? I'm sure. Maybe it's with his prayers, right? When he's up here saying prayers, but I guess my point is it's not only Reverend Tony as a minister. I'm confident that he's also living his divine purpose when he steps foot out of here, when he takes off that ministerial hat, right? Now, I don't really know you two very well, but it's clear as day when you're up here singing, you're going downstream. Everybody else is on board, right? And we feel that. Do you see how, just you singing, you get your vibration up, you're moving downstream, that's really the essence of your divine purpose. Your purpose, everyone, is to just go this way. It's just that simple, right? It's just that simple. Now, when I think about, I keep doing that. When I think about my divine purpose, maybe about 12 years ago, I was at my growing up church, which is Greek Orthodox, and I had been reading Catherine Ponder. I was familiar with what unity was, but I hadn't actually found one yet. And I was thinking about why hadn't I found one yet, and I think it was because I hadn't really figured out how to use Google. You believe that 12 years ago? I wasn't using Google. How did I function? I don't even know. I didn't have a unity. I know that because I didn't even think to go on Google. I'm sure I know it was there. I just didn't think to use it. Anyways, but I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, how funny is this? I could have been in unity 12 years ago. Anyways, so there I am in my growing up church, my Greek Orthodox church, and I decided to serve as I taught preschool. And this is a big church. We're talking 45 kids in my class alone were registered every year. 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And we never had more than maybe 25 at a time, but that's how many there could be. It was a big church. Maybe 600 families. And so, because I'm learning Catherine Ponder and I'm learning from Wayne Dyer and I'm learning from Abraham Hicks, my goal was for these kids to learn that God was everywhere absolutely everywhere, and that God loved them no matter what. Those were my 2 goals that I wanted them to experience. And it all started because we were just sitting around in a circle time, and I was just kind of shooting the breeze with the kids, just talking to them one day. And I said, and I was just, they're 3 and 4, so I was just, hey, when does God love you? Does God love you when you're playing with your brother and sister? Oh, yeah, God loves me then. Okay. How about when you're eating all your dinner? Does God love you then when you're at dinner time? Yep, God loves me. How about at bedtime? Yep, God loves me. How about when you're sad? Does God love you when you're sad? And a couple of the kids hesitated. Oh, I don't know. And I said, he does, because we were in Greek church. He does. He loves you. Oh, okay. I said, what about when you're fighting with your brothers and sisters? What about then? And almost every child said, no. No, God doesn't love me then. And this kept coming up. What if you're having a tantrum? No. And I kept reinforcing that God loved them no matter what. And some of these kids were like, what? Are you sure? Because I don't think my mom thinks that. They were just, it was very much like, it was mind-blowing to these children. And then when that happened, that's when I was like, oh, I need to make sure that these kids know this. So by the time I'm done with them with this school year, and really I got a lot of them for a few years in a row because they were there 3, 4, that was my, and I don't know what happened after that, but I hope I got that. I hope I burned that into their brain that God loved them no matter what, and that God was inside of them. That was my goal. So fast forward, over the years, that wasn't quite enough for me because it was 1 hour a week, right? I wanted to do more. So I started teaching classes. I started teaching people how to use the law of attraction. I started doing different things. I learned about EFT, which we'll be doing a lot of in the workshop later. And I started speaking at Unities a few years ago. 3 years ago, I was terrified of microphones. If you told me I was going to be in front of people with a microphone, I would laugh at you. There would be no way. But this is what it's all about, for me anyways, is to remind people that they are the God within and that they have the power. Really, all they have to do is turn around in their stinking boat. It's kind of really very, very simple. We make it very, very complicated. It's actually very simple. So that's kind of my story, but that's not the only time that I get lit up, right? That's my serious divine purpose, right? Because for me, I had to have a serious one. You really don't. You could be making birdhouses. You could be driving a bus. You could be really doing anything as long as you're doing it this way, right? As long as you're doing it this way, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're getting your vibration up. You're inspiring other people. Yay. So, if it's so great going this way, how come we don't do it all the time? Unless everyone here is always downstream, and I'm the only one that sometimes find myself over here, and my husband will so lovingly say, oh, did you want more of this? Did you want to keep going this way? I'm like, oh. I'll turn around. And I'm all like, takes about 5 minutes to calm down. Fine, you're right. I was over there again. Sometimes we need a reminder. Sometimes we get caught up in drama. We get caught up in, did you hear what she said? Did you, things like this happen. Whatever, we're human. But if we remember that we have that inner power, right? All we have to do is turn around the boat. So what I've learned over the years, the reason I think that we don't just stay over here, I think we come over here because we say, we read these books and we come to church and we have all these wonderful ideas and we're like, yeah, I'm going to go downstream. This is going to be great. And then the first challenge that we come upon is, oh, I don't need to drive, right? I don't really need to paddle. The river's going to take care of it for me. This energetic pull of God is going to take care of it for me, right? I got to give up some control. I don't want to do that. Anybody else? Oh, no, am I the only one that doesn't like to give up control all the time? Right? So that's challenge number one. You gotta take your hands off the oars. Here's the other challenge. You say, okay, fine, I'll do this because I'm promised all these wonderful things, right? I'm going to have health and prosperity and everything's going to go great for me. Sure, I'll do this. But then there's this curve in the river. The river takes like a hard right or a hard left, and you can't see anymore. You've got to go around that corner to see what's next. Who wants to do that? Most people do not. Most people don't want those surprises. So what do? They feverishly start paddling this way because I know this stretch of river. I know what this part of my life is like. My parents did it. My neighbors do it. Everybody does this. This stretch of river is safe, right? Because this is what we've always done. It's okay. Maybe I'm the only one that keeps finding myself over here. I'm like, oh, again, I'm over here again. How did I do that? So what I'm asking you to do is, the seek, I think, is done. We've all seeked out our divine purpose. We're here. Discover, meaning I want you to be aware and just very, very aware of where you're vibrating. If you're feeling positive, great. If you're in a funk and you realize that you're kind of like you're paddling upstream, you're making life harder than it needs to be, what I'd like everyone to do is take a deep breath. And we'll do a lot of tapping in the workshop, but really quick, I want to just show you just the tapping points so you can do it on your own at home. It's the most simple and effective way for you to just turn around in your boat. So, what I'd like everyone to do is just take a deep breath. Now, what we're going to do, if you've never done this before, you're going to look ridiculous, and it's okay because we're all doing it together. Okay? Just going to start there. We're going to be silly. We're going to start by, we're going to tap on the top of our head. And I just want you to breathe. Just focus on your breath for a moment. And then I'd like you to tap on the inside of your eyebrow. And just breathe. And then the side of the eye. Just breathe. And then under the eye. How are we feeling? And then under the nose. And then down to the chin. And then I'd like you to tap on your collarbone. I'm going to do it over here because the microphone. And then we're going to tap under the arm, which is just right here. And then the last one isn't as popularly known, but I love to use this point. We tap our wrists together. And then you're just going to put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath. And I realize that nobody was probably really stressed or anything at this point, but can you see how that will help you turn around in your boat? If you're feeling like there's whatever, there's stress, there's drama, there's whatever's going on in your life, if you do that just for a few minutes, what happens is, scientifically, it actually reduces the cortisol in your body. It reduces that stress hormone. And it just kind of calms you down a little bit. And it brings you centered, right? So that's one way that you can just turn around in your boat. Let me see. I think I'm doing good. Okay. I don't think I've missed anything. So now if you are able to stay, what we're going to do is we're going to tap for a bit to connect to that higher consciousness, to really help ourselves make sure that we're going downstream, make sure that we're really connected. We're going to tap on that because it's wonderful. It's a great way to really get grounded and to hear the voice inside. And then we're going to figure out what it is that brings us the most joy. And then we're going to figure out why we're not living it already. And we're going to tap on whatever comes up. It could be different fears. It could be who knows what. And we're going to tap on the resistance. All those little bends that we think they're in a river, all those reasons why we can't go over, around that corner, we're going to tap on those fears. And then I'm going to send you off into the world, and hopefully it will all come together. If you can't stay for the workshop, I ask that you please be mindful of what brings you joy. All the joy that comes into your life, right? Because if you can just get yourself into a place where you're experiencing joy, where you're feeling joy, where you're feeling better, that's really all you have to do. Truly. And then, if you get to a bend in the river and you feel a little scared, you can tap, you can do other things, you can meditate, you can pray. So, now Edwene, I love this woman. When I met her, I think I was maybe a little bit like a stalker to her, because I got to see her in New York City, and she was giving her talk. Oh, no, she was doing the stand-up comedy, and I sat in the very first seat, and I was so excited. I was like the first person there. I'm like, oh, Edwene. In fact, I got there so early that she was like just coming in to go to the bathroom, and she was like, get out of my way. And I was like, who's Edwene? I was so excited. Anyway, so then after that, then she spoke in Connecticut at the church on that following Sunday. So, of course, I drove to Connecticut, so I had to come home from New York, right? So I went and saw her at church, and then I stayed for the workshop, and then I was like, oh, Edwene. Anyway, so the poor woman, I'm pretty sure she was like, who is this crazy lady that's following me around? But it's true. My sister's nodding because she was there. She saw it for real. But anyways, she starts out her book. The very first line is, and I love this, my name is Edwene Gaines, and I am a woman of power. Period. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. So what I would like is for us to do a little bit of tapping, and then I would like us to state our names, that we are people of power, right? So let's just start on the top of the head again. I am a person of power. And, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. You're going to repeat after me. I am a person of power.
I am a person of power.
Inside of the eyebrow. I am ready to move downstream.
I am ready to move downstream.
Inside of the eye. I don't need these oars.
I don't need these oars.
Under the eye. I have the Christ consciousness.
I have the Christ consciousness.
Under the nose. And I am a person of power.
And I am a person of power.
Down to the chin. I am one with God.
And I am one with God.
Down to the collarbone. I only need to go downstream.
I only need to go downstream.
Under the arm. I am the light of God. Inside the wrist. Because I am a person of power.
Because I am a person of power.
And now, I'd like you to put your hands on your heart and state out loud. So we're going to say, my name is, and you're going to say your name, and I am you can say man, woman, person of power. Okay, ready? My name is Lori, and I am a woman of power. Now, I'd like you to turn to people near you and let them know that they are men and women and people of power. So go ahead and do that. Turn towards people. Let them know. You're a man of power.
Yours, he has power.
You both have the power, though. So how does that feel, everybody? So how does that feel? To be reminded that we are people of power. And really, once we turn around in our boat, we're claiming our power, right? We're connecting to that God within. I shouldn't say it, we're always connected to the God within. We're facing our God within. When we're over here, we've got our back to it. And we have to remind ourselves sometimes that it's right there. Our divine purpose is right there. Our highest good is right there. Every opportunity, every gift, everything is right over here. We just have to turn around. So I invite all of you to remind each other gently, if you think that maybe they could use this to turn around in the boat. Nobody wants to hear it at first, but it's always good if afterwards. Remind each other, remind yourselves, right? Because we are people of power. So thank you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.